His first car was a Model T Ford, 1917, I think it was. Maybe 1950. Well, the first truck he had was a flatbed, hard rubber tires, no cab on it, just a windshield in front of it. Seat was over the gas tank. It was flatbed. Rode like a wagon. No, I was too young then. He had that when I was born, I guess. No, it's just a flatbed you used for work. They could, yeah. Everybody sit around on it and hang the feet off the side. We walked to school first year.
Both ways uphill.
Then we took a school bus to Caldwell in Orange County. From that to Hurdle Mills School, from which I graduated in '37. Oh, there was 10 of us. 4 boys and 6 girls. And I have 3 sisters living.
How old are they?
95, 93, and 88. 188 was 88 yesterday.
Really?
She was 88 yesterday.
How about
like
your brothers?
2 days being 3 years older than her.
3 years and 2 days.
How about your brothers? How old are they?
Well, they were much older. One of them was born 1901, 1909, 1911.
Oh my goodness.
The sisters was born 1903, 1905, 1907, 1914, 1916, and 1921.
Okay.
See, my oldest first birth was my brother, 1901, and the sister, 1903, another sister, 1905, and then Lula, 1907.
Wow.
And then my brother Mike's 1909, other brother 1911, and then my sister that's living there 1914, February the 11th. She'll be 96.
Wow. Did y'all
And the
have...
other was born July the 4th,
Neat.
1916.
Wow.
Of course, mine, September 28th. Well, the sister, it's 88, was September the 21st.
And how old does that make you?
Well, makes me 91 tomorrow.
That's pretty exciting.
Huh?
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Are you excited about being 91?
What?
Are you excited about being 91?
Just another day. I have a friend across the street's 91. I have a member of our church is 91. And another friend named Daniel will be 91 in October.
Mm-hmm.
During World War II, I was in service from April 41 to July 45. Overseas, from January 42 to July 45. South Pacific. Interesting. Well, most of us, it was interesting to see Australia, but it wasn't that but a week. But then Most of the other places was islands where it was not developed.
Mm-hmm.
Natives of the islands that use coconut palms,
Wow.
coconut trees for their living conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that's
Wow.
Where was the last place you were stationed during the war?
on Leyte Islands in the Philippines. I went to Australia in well, I left January of 42, but it was 40, February, 1st of March before we got to Australia. Zigzagged down through the Panama Canal and zigzagged. Then stayed in Australia a week, Melbourne, Australia. From there to New Caledonia, French-owned island that was, to the French it was a prison island. Political opponents or criminals were isolated on that island. Then from there to Guadalcanal and the Solomon Islands.
Wow.
Then to an island called Green Island in the Sulu Archipelago, little horseshoe-shaped island, and where the fighter planes had a strip to bomb the truck islands. It was a naval base for the Japanese. That's why we destroyed the Japanese army, and it was a change of the war because they couldn't get supplies that they had. Then we went back to Bougainville Island, set up on the perimeter. One person became a friend of mine since the 10 years, Richmond. Bill Eubank was with the CBs, and they built a road up to the top of the mountains for us to get up, set up our equipment and everything. I didn't know him until I got here, but that isolated the Japanese. We didn't try to protect them. To get rid of anything. We just left them on the other side of the island and kept that one perimeter, and nothing they could do. Then from there to Leyte Island in the Philippines. Then we left Leyte Island and came to California under the Golden Gate Bridge, first sight of the land of America
Amazing.
since we left in January of 42.
Did he ever have a furlough?
So we
No furlough.
came there, and then
Not during the war.
Oh my God.
we boarded it.
Furloughs during the war.
Wow.
They issued us some more clothes there
Second World War.
on what is it, the criminal island of Alcatraz.
Furloughs went over
Took us
and
over that
had to come back.
and then put us on a train, sent us cross country through the desert down to Gulfport, Mississippi, and on up to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. My brother had gotten out of the Air Force from Europe in January and married and lived was stationed in Gulfport, Mississippi. And I got word to him we were coming through. And so I looked for him, and he and his wife looked for me. But we didn't see each other. So after we got back to Fort Bragg, they discharged us and dismissed. I boarded bus for Durham. Got to Durham about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I knew where my sister lived. Everything was gone. It was quiet then. So I walked from the bus station to my sister, older sister, and woke her and the girls and Mary Francis's mother.
You should hear them talk.
She called my sister, Fanny, one we call sister, and John, and they came over and got me and took me out to the farm, to home.
I love to hear families sing.
And after I got there and met the family, we went over to my brother's house there beside the church. They were putting in tobacco, so I saw them there for the first time that day.
They know who's coming.
So that was my round trip.
That's a long trip.
Yeah.
Can't do somebody.
I stayed at home on the farm with my parents the first year because I was not physically able to. I weighed 139 pounds, I think.
Oh my God.
So I stayed there with them, and then in July, summer of 46, I enrolled in summer school at Wake Forest College, where I had been. I had a year before I went in service, and I stayed there and finished in 49 with class. I could have finished in January, but I wanted to stay on, graduate with the class, so I did graduate studies and did thought I was going to teach high school, teach school, so I did my practice teaching out from Wake Forest, near Raleigh. Taught there for one semester on it, taught biology. And then from there, after finished high school, I decided I wanted to go to seminary to take some studies before I started teaching. And so I went to Southwestern Seminary in the fall of 49 and finished there with a master's degree in religious education in 1951. It was while I was at the seminary that I felt a call to go into full-time religious work.
Did you always do well in school?
Huh?
Did you always do well in school?
Well, I guess I did average.
You have
I
a
did
great
better
memory.
in some things than did others.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had cats, dogs, a dog named Don. You said we had a mule named Rudy. My dad had the mule long before I was born. Mule got so old she couldn't do any work, and people said to Dad, said, put him to sleep. He said, not on your life. She said, raise my family and I'm going to take care of it as long as she lived. And he did. But she just wandered around over the farm with us. And walked sidey fields when we were out working. Didn't even have to put a bridle on her, She just, and we'd get on her and sit on her, maybe 6 or 8 of us one time from her neck all the way to the back. And you could get under her stomach and push up with your back and she'd just grunt. But she was the king of the lot around our barn where the horses, mules were wandering around there. And if she went to water troughs to get water, the other mules didn't come there. She would make a noise, she'd lay her ears back, and every one of them, and the mules and the horse, knew not to bother Rhodey. She was an amazing mule. We thought a lot of her.
That's cute.
I guess the best thing I've happened to is got my wife from Maryland.
Oh.
Been with him, been 56 years in January.
Wow.
Wow.
He had to say that.
He did.
Well, when I finished seminary, my work was Minister of Education at First Baptist Church, Jacksonville, her home church. And at that time, she was at Charlotte. She had taken a year of nursing training, and then she came back to Jacksonville. And was there. I met her then, and of course, she worked as secretary at the church for a while. Then a friend of mine, Tom Williams, that was also at the seminary with me. In fact, we met just for time to go, and we went together to seminary, came back together. He pastored a church at Kellum Church outside of Jacksonville. And so I knew Evelyn, and he met Eleanor, Evelyn's cousin. Her cousin, Eleanor Lockerbie, mother, and Evelyn's daddy were first cousins. Mm-hmm. So we dated together, we married together, we took our honeymoon together,
Oh my gosh.
and we were close friends for years. But he died in 96, May the 17th, 96. Eleanor's still living near Hillsborough. And they have 2 children, boy and girl, like we have too.
Do you remember seeing Evelyn? What did you think? When you first saw Evelyn, what did you think?
I don't know, she was one of the young people there. She worked at church, and
She was in the youth group and he was the minister.
we started dating, went for a state fair and other places
He was
together.
a lot older than you.
Tom and Eldon and Evelyn and I. We did most everything together.
I worked in the office.
Well, I don't know if there's a secret to it.
You think it's genetics?
We ate a lot of vegetables and meat. It's the meat, and of course my dad loved meat. So,
And they worked hard. They worked hard on
but
Everybody else did the same.
her grandparents my grandparents were 89. Mama had a first cousin. Her oldest sister's, not a first cousin, a niece. Her oldest sister's daughter was born a year before my mother. But she still called my mother Aunt Fanny. Though she was a year older than her. And
I think Ellis was very on the name.
we were always a very close family.
I would think.
Get things together. My sister there was an invalid. I think it was bad, but yet it was something that pulled us together. We had a unity of sharing. Of course, I was the younger one then when she died, but I could see the older sisters and brothers. Okay.
But this is what you had. You
So we always had a good time. We've always been a very close family. My dad's father, Grandpa Berry, John Robert Berry, was in the Civil War. He was taken prisoner one time in North Carolina and released, and in fact, he was released for service, and then he went back in service. And he was wounded out here at Cold Harbor, Virginia, and put in a hospital in Washington, D.C. And then From Washington, he was sent to Elmira, New York prison. They called it the Hell Hole. And from there, while he was there, the Civil War ended, and he was released and sent back home.
Wow.
And
his jug.
he lived there in
That's his.
all in the area of our family.
So you knew him?
There.
Did you know him? Did you know
What?
your granddaddy? Did you ever meet your granddaddy?
No, he died before. I knew my grandmother Hall, my mother's mother.
Mm-hmm.
She was 89 when she died. And she died in 1929. I was 11 years old. I knew her. We went to school across from where she lived, and we had a lot of fun there staying with Grandma. We loved to play flinch, and she did too. And we'd
What is
go
that?
over, and we both phrase, not until you do your homework. After you do your homework, I'll play French with you, regardless of what time it is. And she would. But it's, we had a lot of good memories of fellowships with people
Oh, that's neat.
like that. Oh yes, I miss seeing them there, but we keep in touch with each other, call each other, talk to. We see each other maybe once or twice a year. See, I have 3 sisters and myself. Of the 12 of us, that's 4 of us left. Sister, 95, be 96 in February. Lucille was 93 the 4th of July. Then I'll be 91 tomorrow. And Gertrude was 88 the 26th of September.
What do
So
your
myself
sisters?
and 3 sisters are living. Well, they call me Willie. But the people of my community, growing up, I have the same name as my dad. Even though I was the last of 4 boys, I still got his name instead of the first to get it. And 4 boys. And everybody in the community, and the ones down there, if I go back there, they know me as Little Willie. And I've never called Bill until I went away to school, college and seminary. But everybody around there didn't know me as Willie. They still call me that. I don't know. I told one of my sisters 90th birthday, so I had to tell something about her. Beside of our outside door, but the kitchen back was an apple tree there. And we had some rose bushes, had good long runners. And Lucille got a hold of one of them, and she chased me. And I ran up, and I went up and climbed up the apple tree, and there was a little porch between the where you went into the house. So Lucille sat down on the porch there with a dry runner, and I kept calling Mama, hollering, Mama, Mama. Mama came, but she punished both of us, not severely, but limited us. She wasn't one to be very severe. She could talk you into things that you feel like you want to crawl on a hole somewhere. And so she punished one of us. Me for hollering so much, and Lucille for sitting there keeping me up a tree. I don't know. Well, one thing I had to take him out one time. He was misbehaving in church, but well, one thing was that we learned to ride his bicycle. We lived over here on Cutshaw. And I told him not to ride it bicycle in the street. You can ride on the sidewalks, not to ride in the street. Well, I went to work, and I came home one day unexpectedly, and he was on a bicycle in the street. So I didn't say anything to him. I just went, got the bicycle, took it inside, put it up in the attic, and left it there for a week. I don't know if, well, I did. I punched both of them. In '64, we went to Texas and all, New Mexico, all that. And he and Ellen got so rowdy and so rough and everything, I had to pull a station wagon over on the side and punch both of them. She couldn't understand when she was a little older why Billy, although he was 5 years older, why he could do things she couldn't do. Why he had the freedom to get out and go, and she didn't have it. That's why at Tabernacle Silver Boys, Billy's age, were always, doing things. And the stalls there were space you could crawl under and lock the door inside. And somebody kept locking that door, it's called that. And Mr. Williams, Bus Williams, was talking about it. He wasn't mad, but he said, he said some little boys keep locking the door to this men's room stall. And he said, I think one of them's first name starts with a B. And the little boys were standing there all together. And Billy said yes, and his last name starts with a B too. So he gave himself away,
I think dessert's ready, Papa.
Huh?
I think it's time for dessert. I think your dessert is ready.
Birthday cake.
Your birthday cake is ready.
Oh, it is.
You ready to eat?
All right.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Papa. Happy birthday to you.
All right. Gotta blow them out. Make a wish.
What did you do?
It's a video camera.
You taking it now?
Yeah, now I'm taking a video of you.
Not a picture, just a video. Everything you say, it's not a camera.
Everything?
You got any stories you want to tell?
What?
You have any stories you want to tell?
No, I don't know that.
Be careful what you say, because it's going to be
Yeah.
out there.
We'll have to film.
And be careful how you record anything.
Why is that?
Huh?
Why is that?
Because you can pull it out anytime you want to.